Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
So, guys, just an update here. There's a lot of really interesting things going on. I wonder about the symbolism here. Trump approval, 33%. Do you think there's some sort of code in there, or is that just a coincidence? I don't know. So, Dmitry Medvedev made a statement today. He said that since Iran got bombed like Israel has been bombing them, the U.S. too, it's inevitable that Iran will get nuclear weapons and also that there will be a nuclear war between Iran and Israel. I guess he's not too optimistic. It doesn't sound like it. By the way, oil spikes as Iran strikes fully laden Kuwaiti oil tanker. Yeah, boom, and there it goes. Oil prices immediately jumped higher on the report. As we all know, people that have the type of money to invest in commodities, oh, they can make a killing. Can you imagine having insider information like Congress does? American Airlines says they could run out of fuel within weeks as travel chaos spirals before summer. Absolutely, it's going to drive the pricing of tickets through the roof. We were out today. We had to make a run, and gas prices just went up 10 cents, so it didn't go up much. But it's $1.10 above what it was, and it's just holding there at the moment. It's not the case in many other places that are literally running out of fuel. It's getting bad in some areas. Do you understand what happened in the last 72 hours? This is really good, a good put together piece here. Egypt shut down its shops at 9 p.m., mandated work from home Sundays, and the government internally called it war economy mode 4 days after the IMF praised them and unlocked a lot of money. Turkey's central bank burned through, look at these figures, $30 billion in March defending the lira, or 30 billion lira, I guess. Yeah, I'm not sure if they mean $30 billion or 30 billion lira, because that could vary dramatically. The finance minister, everyone called a genius, is now considering selling the national gold reserves. Not a good idea. Gold always holds its value. Pakistan's prime minister went on national TV on Eid and announced government salary cuts and a 50% fuel allocation reduction. Oh boy, Russia banned cash exports above 100,000 and gold bars above 100 grams, fighting a shadow economy. Iraq banned 22 banks from U.S. dollar transactions. Cash mandate for all government institutions coming July 2026. Cash mandate? They're going totally against, Oh, I'm sorry. Cashless mandate. Okay, I was getting really riled up there. We're tired. We're exhausted, but we're trudging ahead, guys. We're prepping. I hope everybody is taking this serious. I just put 100 pounds of oats up in the closet. This is really it. This is really it. When you look on down the line, all the countries, they are all doing what they can to forestall this gigantic crash, which the war is bringing on economic crash that we've never had anything like it in our lives. And the chances of this surpassing the Great Depression are pretty high. Lebanon's currency collapsed 98%. 98%. Wow, this is all in a single week. Oh man, it's really getting out of control. We talked about this 3.9 quake in this morning's video, which again is really a very curious one. It makes me think that it's something to do with military. I do think that. However, when I was looking at Google Earth, oh, by the way, this little blurb here, it looks like somebody cut something out of Google Earth. They don't want you to see something here. It looks like a little slice. Coincidentally, in Sarasota and also in St. Petersburg, there's a big spiritual community that I would hang with back in the days when I lived down that way. And, everybody heard of the rumors of right there being some sort of 5D underwater city. I kid you not. A very advanced city. Think in terms of Atlantis still being there in some spots underwater. It's curious. But I almost forgot, guys. So when I looked and I was looking at Google Earth, I saw what looked to me to be grid-like, grid-like structures. It looks like streets or something down there. When I was looking at the location of where that quake was, whatever they call it, quake. And interestingly enough, with a little contrasting of colors and things, reducing shadows, these very straight lines emerged. Now, I don't know if this is something. Is this underwater structures? I mean, it might sound crazy to some, but again, you think of Oans, you think about Dagon, you think about these advanced beings from under the water that are living in cities here on Earth, submerged cities. But think Aquaman. They're trying to get us ready for when we have more contact with other species other than Homo sapiens sapiens. Could this be some sort of conflict going on, also involving some of these more advanced beings here on Earth? There was a major X-class, a 1.4 solar flare erupts from AR 4405. A CME impact is expected late March 31st or early on April 1st. April Fool's Day. That was when they changed the calendar. Oh, we learned that. And the thing was that whole saying about April Fools, you're a fool if you follow the old calendar and not the new one that we give you. Because, again, they changed it all the time. They want to keep us on our toes. So here you go. And then the most active areas are rotating around to face us. It feels like it's going to be a heck of an April. I just think back to that Nostradamus quatrain that said great disasters will be made in April. It happened to talk about an Islamic invasion as well. Meanwhile, the flooding and the mud flood continues, at least 28 dead after flooding and landslides hit multiple provinces in Afghanistan. It's just a mess. And again, a lot of these areas are getting hammered. They're like desert areas. The climate is changing, not that they have to blame it on, again, certain ways of providing fuel in order to tax us. They want to just tax us because we're carbon-based life forms. We get it. That whole thing's going to be in shambles within a couple years' time, and we won't have to listen to people like Klaus anymore. Guangdong province hit by a big squall. Gale force winds literally blowing this just about over the side there of this bridge, bringing with it also massive hail. So it's all over. It's the BRICS nations, it's the NATO nations, it's the unaffiliated nations. This is Dubai, getting 4 inches of rain. Dubai is like, it's desert. 4 inches of rain, that's a huge amount of rain. For an area like that, because this is kind of like what we had in Death Valley, where Cindy and I were living for a while back in 2020, at the beginning of the plague upon the land. And where we were, I think they would average about 5 inches a year. So here you're talking a significant amount in a short period of time. But it's all going to change. Everything is going to change. It's inevitable. I really think now the next 6 months are where things go crazy, and the change accelerates through the roof. It's like, whoever's putting their foot on the gas, well, they just floored it. And here we have Nurell. This is a tropical cyclone. Triggers dark red skies. This is in Western Australia, and that's the actual color. That is crazy. That feels very ominous. And then we have this, which is really exciting. This is Dr. Filipio Beyond. Remember the whole thing about Chris Bledsoe and, with Easter? Well, we're getting close to Easter. And something about the Sphinx and the star Regulus lining up, because Regulus is, regal, it's king, etc., etc. And that he was given a vision that Israel and Iran are going to start to exchange, missiles like we have. And he was talking about revelations with the Sphinx, and then all of a sudden, there's going to be like a mass UFO, UAP thing going on with other beings. Well, it turns out there might actually be a second and maybe even a third Sphinx.
We've got a major announcement that you're making on this podcast for what you believe to be a second Sphinx.
Robert Duval told us that could be a second Sphinx. Why? Because there is the dream stele. Symmetrical correlations, like the symmetry that we saw observing the dream stele. This is the small mountain that we are observing where the hypothetical position of the second Sphinx would be.
So those would be shafts coming down from the top. Does that indicate then that the second Sphinx would be hollow on the inside if the red is showing up?
Probably yes. We scanned the first Sphinx, all the pyramids, the conjunction between the Sphinx and the Khafre pyramid, and we found vertical shafts, horizontal passages.
This has the big void as a very long and rectangular shaped void.
Yes.
There hasn't really been an opportunity for you to address a lot of the questions that some of the skeptics might have about the work.
Thank you for this opportunity, Matt.
This is really very fun and cool. Think about this. This is Matt Beal and his podcast. Just think about what this might mean. Think about what we might find. And maybe we're in a time now where they're not going to be able to hide things. Again, apocalypse, it's the unveiling. Another researcher was using what was given here and looked and found another kind of hill that looks like it might actually be a third. So I'm just excited about what's coming to pass along these lines, uncovering our true history.
Mm-hmm. A lot's coming up. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and we might not have to wait long. That's the thing. Meanwhile, astronomers say the surge of large fireball events worldwide recently warrants serious investigation. About a dozen of the biggest are coming from the same location. And, some believe it has to do with Comet 3I Atlas. Would Comet 3I Atlas do something that would, something even bigger, some sort of big dramatic turn that you can't, and again, it's done so many things that show that it's not just an icy rock going through space. It is a ship. At least I believe it's a ship. I know Cindy believes it's a ship, and many, many people do. But would that qualify if it made like an abrupt U-turn and came around again as the Blue Kachina go ahead and removing its mass because it's no longer, even trying to look like a regular organic object? Did you know that scientists want to grow headless human bodies and farm their organs for research? Yeah, literally. Now, when you look at all this coming out, these billionaire-funded biotech firms, they've already done these type of things with pigs, with mice, with monkeys, et cetera, et cetera. We have clones. Clones are not something that's way out there. They're here right now. And, the line of thought is maybe even some of the celebrities and politicians, et cetera, are cloned. What also about the idea that perhaps they know how to transfer the consciousness from one body to another? That is really a pretty wild concept, but it might actually already be happening. Maybe it's been going on for thousands of years or more. So they're calling them bodyoids. Bodyoids. Yeah, it just feels so yucky. It really does. This little guy, he's busy at work. Kind of reminds me of myself out there in the backyard, but he has better teeth.
He's a cutie pants.
He sure is. So I hope everybody is doing well. Be as prepared as possible. Cover all the bases. Make sure you have multiple means of purifying water, backup food, backup fuel, backup energy sources. And don't forget your spiritual practice. Much love, guys. Source bless. Namaste.
Namaste.